Hello, everybody. My name is Roy Nemmer of Mundo Albiceleste.com, and welcome to a live video discussion. I'm not by myself, obviously. I'm with the man himself, the man, the myth, the living legend, Sebastian Garcia, and we are here to
Oh,
discuss Argentina versus Saudi Arabia, the preview at the World Cup. Seba, how's it going?
hey, how are you? I'm not Pablo Zabaleta, by the way.
No?
It's my new my head just got bigger, but
Okay.
it's good. It's good to be here again. And now the World Cup is already on the way, but on the next game is gonna be the most important for us. So it's gonna be Argentina there, and we're all about. Seba got a haircut. I can see the comments starting
Already.
to come. Yeah, I had. Yeah, I had. Um, People don't take me seriously, but it's good. It's good. I do take everybody seriously here. So
No, of
why
course.
don't we do the winning formula that we've
As
been
always,
doing and start saying hello to every continent? Let's see where's
let's
people coming from, watching from.
Yeah, let us know where you're from. Every time we always get people from literally every single continent across the globe. I'm based in North America. Seva's in South America. Uh, we have Jaco Taco. I keep forgetting where Jaco Taco is from. But let us know where you're from. Canada. There you go. We got Anthony from Canada. Jaco Taco, California. There you go. Jaco Taco.
Nice,
Paul
nice.
Reed from Jamaica. We got Scotland. We got Haiti. We got oh my
See,
gosh, everywhere, everywhere.
we're
USA
taking all the
games
continents.
at
Yeah, we're
4
taking.
a.m.
Yeah,
Dallas, Texas, everywhere. Yeah, like you said, Sarah, every continent. We're in
yeah.
Africa
That's
right now,
Africa.
Nigeria.
Yeah, there was somebody from Nepal.
All
There
the
you
way from
go.
Nepal,
Roof of the world.
Louisiana. We got New
Nice.
York City, New York, Dallas,
Beautiful,
Texas, San
beautiful.
Diego, California, everywhere. India,
There you
Jamaica.
go.
Here we
There you
go.
go.
Moses, West Africa, Nigeria. Wow. Hey, mixed memorabilia. Good evening. I believe you're in the UK. Good evening. Good evening. Baltimore, Maryland for Nani. Connecticut, USA. Love Connecticut. Great place. Visited several times. India.
Where's Bangladesh? Where's Bangladesh? Do we have
We're,
Bangladesh in the house?
I think we're getting to
No?
Bangladesh. We got Cape Town, South Africa. We got
Yeah.
India. We got some more India. Bangalore, India. There we go.
There
Bangladesh.
you go.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thomas from
That's
Scotland, Nevada. Oh my gosh. Haiti, Antarctica. Right. There you go. Ella
that's
from
beautiful.
Florida, New York. I love Argentina from London, Ontario. All right. Not too far from here.
Beautiful.
Um,
Beautiful.
London,
All right. So I
UK.
think we cover. I
I
don't.
think we covered.
I lost count. I lost count, but I think we cover every continent.
We got
I saw
Australia
someone
right
from
here.
Australia. There you go. There you go. I think that Oceania was the only one missing. I think,
Yeah.
but it's great. It's great.
Jaco Taco. Yes, we have, and we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. Good morning, Hong Kong. Wow,
Hong
that's
Kong.
one. Pakistan, Cyprus, beautiful Cyprus. I love
Oh my
Cyprus.
God!
Been
With the
there, been
Boca,
there before.
with the Boca badge. All right,
The
all
Boca
right.
Badge.
That's
All right, there you
fantastic.
go. So let's from Solomon Islands. Okay, that's a new one for us. Welcome,
New one.
welcome.
What is the half Brazil
That's
flag
an
doing there?
interesting flag.
It's never mind. Never mind. Everybody's welcome, especially
Absolutely.
so far away. I don't know what time is
You
it
know,
right now in the
from
Solomon Islands, but
no,
it's great. It's
Lebanon
great.
for Rami, and India 4 a.m. So all right, and we're here. We're not alone. Obviously, we have all over the world. We're here to discuss the one thing that at least brings us together. And it's not just football, but the Argentina national team. And we got a big game coming up, Seba and everybody, and Argentina versus Saudi Arabia, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Qatar. First game in our group. Wow, that's gonna be something. That's gonna be
Yeah,
something.
there's one thing that I always think about whenever a World Cup starts. For us, I think I lost count. I think I'm 11 World Cups old, if I'm
Okay.
not mistaken. Yeah, the first one that happened when I was alive, I was only 1 year old. Of course, I don't remember anything. But Argentina won that one. It was the first one we won in '78. I was born in May '77, so the first one that happened, uh, Argentina, when I was alive,
Yeah.
was Argentina 1978. And the first one that happened that I vividly remember every single moment, every single game was 86. I do remember a little couple of flashes of Argentina Brazil playing in 82, but I was 5, so I don't remember a lot. Uh, I don't have a lot of memories from that young age. And I always think about, okay, this is going to be the first World Cup that someone will remember. This will be the
Mm.
first World Cup that an Argentina fan somewhere, it could be in Argentina, it could be in any of the places where people are watching this. It's going to be the first. It's going to be the first one for them. So tomorrow, it's yet another World Cup debut for us. We've been following and watching, but it's going to be very, very special for a lot of people. And
Yeah.
you know, I wish for a fantastic experience for the younger generations, for the younger generations of fans. You saw Manuel, my son, in the last video, and it's going to be the first World Cup experience that he understands because he was very, very young back in 2018. So the first thing the first thing I think about is these young fans that are going to enjoy, and maybe people that are new, that are not so old, not so young, but they are new to the sport. They are just getting into soccer, football, whatever they want to call it, and they pick Argentina. They heard about Lionel Messi. They want to witness greatness, and they will support Argentina. So everybody will be welcome, and everybody will be needed
Yes.
for us to channel all the energy and try to finally break this
Yeah.
curse. Yeah.
We were able to break this curse last year together, right? The trophy curse.
Yep.
And it's very true. You mentioned something I didn't think about. I had tweeted out yesterday. I asked, what's the first World Cup or the first World Cup memory that you have? And a lot of people said 2010, 2006, some in the 70s, some in the 80s, some in the 90s. But it's true for someone very, very young, maybe 4 or 5 years old. This could be the first, like this is potentially the first glimpse of a World Cup that they
Mhm.
see, that they experience. And for us, we always kind of look forward to it. And we look at, for example, George, it's Italia 90. Me personally, it's
Mhm.
94, mostly the first one that I mostly remember, and then 98, kind of fully. Uh, so it's an interesting one, and if you're an Argentina fan, this is a great one. I mean, this
Oh
one
yeah.
over 2018, knock on wood, this one is very, very
Mhm.
different. Um, and we got some fans here of
Yeah.
Argentina,
No, and
lots of Korea.
this is something that I started thinking about it recently. I heard Pablo Aymar.
Yeah,
He's in the
amazing.
coaching. He's in the coaching staff right now. He used to be Messi's idol.
Yeah,
So think about that. Of course, everybody here, we are very addicted to Argentina. We are very big fans of Argentina, so we know who Pablo Aymar is. But I didn't know this, and he spoke about having a conversation with Messi and telling Messi something that. Um, yeah, the World Cup years. How old are you in World Cups, in World Cup terms? But
very good.
Aymar said that he told Messi something that he heard Michael Jordan, the great basketball legend,
Yeah,
say once. He said, "I play every day knowing that there's somebody there that is gonna watch me for the first time. It's gonna be the first time watching me, so I have to give my best effort. I mean, I had to play like it's my last
true.
game." And he told that to Messi, and in order to channel that energy to to help him focus as well. Um and and we know that Messi does that all the time. He doesn't want to
Of course,
sit. Yeah, he doesn't want to sit even if it's a friendly game, and even if it's only 3 minutes remaining. He hates to be substituted. And tomorrow there will be many people there at the stadium watching him for the first time. And I couldn't think of a different way to start this video, because I'm thinking of those people that are going to be there in the stadium watching him for the first time, but also a lot of others that are going to be watching for the first time. And who knows, they may not even be Argentina fans, but maybe after the game they will, and they will adopt Argentina and be a fan forever.
Yeah.
That's very special.
No, it is. It really, really is. And I mean, Jack Otako also said, Jordan once said that he plays every game and he wants to play every game because people pay to see him. And in this case, obviously people have traveled all around the world. The support for Argentina has just been tremendous, and we see it on social media. And Argentina haven't even kicked the ball yet; they haven't even played a single match.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at the support, for example, right here, team no sleep tonight to watch the pregame at 4 a.m. and match 5 a.m. It's the same thing for me. Seba, you and I, we were just talking off the air. I said,
Yeah.
I'm gonna wake up at least not no later than 4 a.m. because the game's at 5. So by the time I wake up and see the starting 11, even though we kind of have an idea and it's almost kind of confirmed about the starting 11, I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be supporting. It's a unique experience. If it's your first time truly living a World Cup, forget everything, forget all the noise, forget all the stuff. If you just focus on the game, focus on the sport, it's going to be something very, very special, and even more so if you're an Argentina fan. And people
Yeah,
look.
no, I'm not team no sleep because, but I have to say it starts at 7 a.m. so it's not that dramatic. I don't
Yeah.
normally wake up that early, but I will sleep tonight. But I'm team. I have already bought all the things that I need to eat tomorrow,
Yeah, you did.
just
We
before
talked
the
about
game
that.
or during the game. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be that bad of a time for the kickoff for us in Buenos Aires. But yeah, Vishnu, thank you for sharing. First time evening live experience in a workout. So,
There you go.
yeah,
So
I remember 2002. That was really unpleasant in every
that
in every sense of
I
the
was
expression.
no 2002 for me. That I was overseas, so I wasn't in Canada. I was overseas, and I remember the matches were very early. But it was around 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. It was really morning, not 4 or 5 a.m., but still relatively
Right.
morning. And nothing about that World Cup was good at all. So, we're not talking about that. We're not going to
No,
talk
no, no,
about
no, no,
that.
no.
And Claire, Clarison writes, "There's no sleep for me tonight. I think I'm the same. Matthias as well. 5 a.m. for me, then off to work." Um, and the good thing is, you guys don't have to wake up early if you want to find out the starting 11, because I think we have the starting 11 here, Sarah, don't we not?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Let's get to it.
Let's go.
So,
There you
Dibu
go.
Martinez, Molina, Cuti Romero, Otamendi, Tagliafico instead of Acuna, midfield three of De Paul, Paredes, and surprisingly enough, Papu Gomez, so no Alexis McAllister, and then the front three of Messi, Lautaro, and Angel Di Maria. So that's the big one there. That's the big starting 11. Your thoughts, Seb, and everyone's thoughts as well.
Yeah, I kind of expected this. Especially the Papu inclusion. I think it has a lot to do with how Scaloni always makes some adjustments to the team depending on
Mhm.
the opposition and what the opposition can bring and what type of game that he anticipates. And for tomorrow, you know, um, we chances are we're gonna be on the offensive all the time. So we chances are Saudi Arabia, even though it's not that uh, their main style, they're not a team that parks the bus, as they say, from the get go. Chances are Argentina, we're gonna push them. We're gonna corral them. We're gonna uh, stay attacking, and Papu to play there with without a lot of space. He can make things happen. He can play little 1-2s with Messi. We saw that in the Copa America.
Yeah.
He has a very, very good understanding with both Messi, Di Maria. So if you remember the Copa America, he scored 2 goals in the group phase. One with a glorious assist from Di Maria against Paraguay, I
Paraguay,
think,
Paraguay, yeah.
and the other one against Bolivia, another pass, fantastic
By Leo.
assist by Messi. He chipped the ball to Papo and he hit it first time. Both goals he hit it first time. So I think it could be the reason why he is included. And then when it comes to the defense, and we kind of knew that Molina was going to be preferred on the right, and Tagliafico ahead of Acuna, and this could be for a couple of reasons. One is a very similar reason to what I just said about Papu being included, that we are gonna um, push all the time, and the other it could be physical. Acuna arrived to the World Cup with a pubalgia, so
That
it's
will hurt
a
the
matter
stem.
of, yeah, maybe they don't want to risk him. We don't know how he finished uh, physically in the last friendly, after the last friendly. So, you know, it's a very offensive um, starting 11. I think it's. I agree. I agree with what Scaloni just
Yeah.
decided.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you as well, Seba, and I echo a lot of the sentiments in the chat. I'm not gonna. I mean, it was obviously between McAllister or Papu Gomez, and as we just said, it looks like Papu is starting. I think against a team like Saudi Arabia, I think Papu might be the way to go. If you want to unlock a little bit, if it gets a little bit tricky, Papu may be more offensive than McAllister. Maybe against a different opposition, maybe not as much. And let's not forget that Papu was not going to play the 90 minutes, no matter what. In all likelihood, Papu's not going to go the full 90. So I think the fact that he's letting him go from the start of the World Cup, he's still relatively fresh. Have him go for it. Why not? Tagliafico is more than capable, or I would like to believe that he's more than capable against Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of good questions here, a lot of good comments in regards to some of the crossing going on in this World Cup, because we've seen a couple of goals and several dangerous chances coming from the wings. So someone like Molina and someone like Tagliafico, maybe more so Tagliafico, who's more, let's say, maybe more naturally defensive. Let's say doesn't venture as much forward as Acuna. That could help provide some coverage as well. So I'm very happy with this
Mm.
11. I'm very very happy
Yeah.
overall.
No. Also, another very important factor. I think it's clear that the team, Scaloni, the coaching staff, everybody, they they are throwing everything at Saudi Arabia right from
Yes.
the start. They want to start with 3 points. The intent is there, and of course, it plays in your mind. Remembering what happened back in 2018 when we couldn't
Yeah.
beat Iceland, I know it plays in Messi's mind because he said it. He said that he he feels like that after he missed the penalty against Iceland, it all went a bit
Downhill.
sour for Argentina. It went a bit downhill, and the group stage got complicated. And we needed a miracle goal against Nigeria in the last game just to advance. But we got France right away. So I think that's one of the conclusions that we can make. They're not saving anybody. They're not
Mhm.
resting anybody. They're going with the big guns, and I think it's a great decision. You have to play your cards. And
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of interesting comments. I just want to say there are a couple of people that are very shy to leave comments, and we saw people getting online from every continent. I also happen to know that there's a couple from Argentina, friends of mine. They're too shy to leave comments, but I want to say, hola Fede, hola Piti. Thank you for watching. I know they're watching and they asking me to say hello.
There we
So
go.
I did. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Hola, muchachos.
Don't be shy next time. Hola muchachos. Yeah, don't be shy next time. Leave a couple of messages. Like, subscribe,
Like,
and
subscribe,
everything.
all that stuff. All that stuff. We're just getting started here at the
Yeah.
World Cup for Mundo Albiceleste. But there is, to your comment, there was this comment here actually to kind of add to a little bit what you were saying, Seb, in terms of going all out in attack. Every game in this World Cup appears to be going almost another, like a full game plus extra
Oh
time
yeah.
because of the injury time. So that's another issue. I mean, Di Maria, Papu Gomez, we know, or we've seen, and we know a little bit about their fitness issues in the past couple of years or throughout their careers. So this is another one that I think the coaches have to take into consideration. Now, in all likelihood, hopefully against Saudi Arabia, we don't get any of that. Hopefully, we don't get 9 minutes of extra time in the first half and another 10 minutes of extra time in
Mhm.
the in the second half. But that's going to be something to watch out for.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the games that we
Yeah.
already saw from this World Cup. I think, but on this point, I think, for example, the first half between England and Iran, there were 14 minutes being added, but I think that's justified because
Of
the
course, the
goalkeeper,
goalkeeper.
unfortunately, he was down for
Yeah,
a long, long time. Second half, they gave something like 9 minutes or 10 minutes, and I don't know. I mean, nobody wanted to play those 10 minutes. Not
no,
even the most optimistic Iranian fan wanted to play more than 2, 3 minutes of other time. But yeah, I heard and I read that there's a
Hidayah.
hello Patagonia. Hey, that's pity. That's pity.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a. I mean, it could be a problem if this is a tendency because I read an article in which they said that Infantino was planning on making the games longer, like
Hmm.
establishing by rule that the games will last more than 90 minutes, will last 100 minutes. And then they're saying that we're seeing a lot of injury time or time added on, and it's because of this. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I think it's
It,
ridiculous to see like what we saw in the second half for England and Iran.
yeah. Yeah. We'll get to that because I have my thoughts on I want to share on that as well because I think it's a little bit excessive. I think they're really following it to the second. Now, granted, if your team absolutely needs a goal, you're gonna love it. If your team doesn't need a
Yeah.
goal, you're not really gonna like that one too much.
Yeah, like today I had the Netherlands 2, Senegal 0 in my
Ah,
predictor game, and thanks to those 9 minutes that they added,
you got
uh,
it.
yeah, the Netherlands scored the
You
second goal and I got it. Yeah,
you you were able
but yeah,
to get
there you
it.
go.
Mixed memorabilia, right? Strength and squad is in depth is very important, especially in this World Cup. How do you think Argentina's in that department? I think they're strong. I think they're very strong. I think
Yeah,
they're very, very strong in that department. Um, I think
yeah,
we're,
yeah. Also,
especially in midfield,
yeah, and also you guys are welcome to watch the previous videos as well. We discussed
of
this
course.
when the World Cup squad was announced. We were very happy about every single every single name
Name.
on that squad list, and we were even happy with the reserves players that are now included in the team due
Yeah.
to injuries to Joaquin Correa and was the other one
Nicholas
who got injured?
Gonzalez.
Nicolas
It's
Gonzalez. Yeah, sorry, I'm old. I'm old. I'm old. I
okay.
know. I,
It's the World Cup day,
yeah, it's a
night,
team
evening,
effort.
Seba.
Yeah,
It's a
this is
team
a team
effort.
effort.
No, it's good. It's good. Look, it looks like everyone is kind of happy. A lot of people want to see substitutes. I saw, Dybala's name in there, Enzo Fernandez as well, Lisandro Martinez. I think we are going to get some substitutes as well. Hopefully, we get a couple of goals. I'm not going to ask you, Seb, about your predictions because I know we don't do that. You and I here, we don't ask
Yeah,
each other those questions, but we're going to ask everybody
yeah.
a little bit later on. Raf says, we do have depth. Um, and Anuparno writes, we lack proper wingers, frankly speaking. That was one, right? And we discussed this at one point with Garnacho and who do you take if something happens, you needed a backup. This is all in the last video as well, so we're not going to go completely through it. Um, but there was a comment here by Matthias. Depth, yes. That said, some key members must be protected aside from the obvious. I think DePaul is crucial, and we worry about him being worked too hard. This is a very valid point, and we're going to have to protect DePaul the same way we're gonna have to protect Messi and Di Maria up front.
Yeah, that one is tricky because they if you ask them if you ask the Paul with 3 minutes to go, he will tell you he's okay. He wants to keep running, and he will probably be up to the coaching staff to decide to take him out of the game. But you know he will just keep going, and everybody else has the
Yeah,
same mentality. So that's a tricky one because you know you risk upsetting the player as well if you leave them out of the game. There was the same point being made about Di Maria, who's very injury prone, and to see
yes,
him start in a game like this, you could make the argument of Argentina not needing Di Maria to beat Saudi Arabia and resting him, but at the same time he needs to increase his sharpness, his match fitness, because he was coming from injury, and good players, great players, they need to play. They want to play. They need to play, and they have to play. So
Yes.
I don't think there is a recipe to go about
It's
that part. You need to
no.
play your best players in a World Cup.
I agree, and especially for the first game. I mean, Messi spoke about it today, and several times we've spoken about it. You just mentioned it a couple of minutes ago when Messi said about his miss against Iceland. It's sort of like, well, if you want to rest Di Maria for the first game, and God forbid somehow Argentina don't get the 3 points, you might go back and say, oh well,
Yeah,
because Di Maria wasn't there. Had Di Maria started, we would have gotten the 3 points. And I'm of the belief you do anything and everything to get the 3 points, especially in the first match. And then you never know what happens in the other game, in the other games in the group. Maybe a result goes your way, cuts you a bit of a break, and in the second game you can kind of readjust. But and there you go. Very important. It's absolutely vital. It's extremely important to start off very well in the first game. It's you have to. You absolutely have to.
I
I'm not
agree
saying go
absolutely.
and win, 6-1 or 6-2 like England, although by all means go for it.
Yeah, yeah.
But we've seen Argentina and other teams do that and at times peak a little bit early or you become overconfident. But I think just play well, and I have no doubt that Argentina will and get the 3 points and from there take it, one game at a time. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
What about
And
the scare? The scare we woke up
so
to. You want to
yeah,
share
so
that? Yeah,
we
because today I had a full head of hair this morning, and then I
yeah,
lost. I lost all my hair today. It wasn't. It
yeah.
wasn't something that happened
Uh,
during many years. But let's share what
so
that
yeah, so
image that you have.
there was a picture that went around, and this is an actual image. It's not photoshopped or anything. This is Messi's ankle, uh, and a lot of people saw this, myself included, Seba as well, and we suddenly just got, wait, what's
Yeah.
going on? What is this? Seba, what have you heard about this year? Have you heard
First of all,
anything?
well, the first thing I didn't hear was my heartbeats because I had a mini stroke there for a moment. And yeah, it was a morning of full speculation. Everybody was sharing that image. It went viral really quickly, as everything that happens with Messi. This is coming from a couple of days in which Messi trained separate from the group. He had a personal session training, and it was a very light couple of sessions that he had. And there were rumors about him being having an injury or whatever. But as time went by, the version that I started hearing was that he's wearing a tape with and you will help me with the English here. It's a cryotherapy. It has to do with bandage that he has that has ice included, and that's why there's a big bulk there. That it's not his actual ankle really injured or swollen up. So and then a few minutes later, he had a press conference. He said, "I have no issues," but the heart of a nation stopped for a while. Everybody was panicking. We were thinking, and of course, memories of Diego back in Italy in '90. Yeah, it's actually Matias is the following World Cup in 1990, but yeah, you got it. Everybody was thinking about Diego's, and I don't know if you heard, but there's a commercial for a beer brand here in Argentina, and the full commercial, it's people looking for coincidences between '86 and 2022, and it's very funny. So they're talking about oh yeah, that this well, Canada qualified for the World Cup. You know what? Last time Canada qualified for the World Cup, okay, it was in 1986. Oh, so people start believing that everything that happened in '86 will happen now in 22. So it's very funny, but yeah, people are comparing that image with Diego's image, but it has nothing to do because this is actually a bandage with ice. It's like an ice pack that he was wearing. So that's it. That's it. We can breathe. We can breathe now. Oh, I think you're muted, or I'm not listening. to what you're saying.
Sorry, I was on mute. I was on
Oh,
mute. There
okay,
you
okay.
go.
I thought I
Thank you for
was
that,
old.
Seba.
I thought I was the old man.
No, no. This is me. This is me. That's my
Right.
mistake. Yeah, no. So we heard it from Messi himself as well, right? He's not injured.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
fine. I think from what you're hearing, Seb, I think it makes sense. I would believe that, uh, just because we know. Look, I think we've gotten to the point where I don't think any player is truly physically 100%, especially right now. I don't think so. I'm not just talking about Messi. I think there's no player in the world right now, after the grueling 2 or 3 seasons that we've had, especially since COVID and the number of matches. But all things considered, and I believe Messi. I think he is. Yes, he is 100%, and he's good to go. And I have no doubt that we're going to see a different Messi. I think we're going to see a very, very different Messi this time, as opposed to previous years. It feels different. It feels very, very different. Um, and you mentioned about finding similarities between '86 and 2002, and there was a question earlier, people asking, is there anyone that's superstitious? Anyone has any
Yeah.
superstitions? Seba, I'm not going to ask you what your superstitions are, but are you superstitious? Do you have something? And if you guys in the chat, let me know as well. Are you superstitious, and do you have any superstitions?
You know, I think my only superstition. I'm not saying okay, I'm gonna wear this shirt or I'm gonna sit in the same place like I did when we won that game. Or I don't have any of those rituals
Okay.
or superstitions. The only thing I don't normally do, is to predict the outcome
The
of a
game.
game or say we're gonna. And, I try not to say um, how we're gonna how the game will play out. Um,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I just try not to jinx it verbally before the game. That's all I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of people that are really, really superstitious. They may be wearing the same underwear throughout the World Cup. I hope they wash it, but I don't know. I haven't asked. Yeah.
If it gets you the World Cup, I don't know, Seba.
I
No.
mean, yeah,
No,
30.
it's
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they wear it for the game, for every game, but still they will have to wear it 7 times in a month, and
yeah.
that's why I hope they wash it. Yeah.
No, absolutely, absolutely, and yes, definitely that like and subscribe, everybody. Don't forget, don't forget. We're gonna be live as well tomorrow after the game, not immediately afterwards, but probably once all the games are done throughout the day.
Yep.
We'll go live. We'll discuss Argentina, and we'll discuss all of the other games as well. Um, I'm. It's weird. I am superstitious. There's a superstition I do in 2006, and I've been doing it every time. And for whatever reason, sometimes it works and everything. And then I made a promise to myself that if Argentina were to win the Copa America last year, I would stop that superstition, because it worked last year. And I told myself, like,
Right.
please, this is the last time. So if it works, I'm just gonna stop doing it. Obviously, it worked. So now I don't know. I'm still superstitious, but I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm gonna have something going on or not or not.
Hmm.
Um,
When you
and
believe in things you don't understand, then you suffer. These
exactly.
lyrics. Somebody will pick up the reference. Somebody there will pick up the reference
Yeah,
of
of
what
what
I
we're talking
just.
about, what you just said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so we have someone here there in terms of like and subscribing. I started watching your show from the last Copa America. Thank you very much. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Hence, I will keep watching it during this World Cup and hope the results turn out the same. Hey, thank you,
Beautiful.
Benji. Thank you,
Beautiful.
thank you. Let's look at some of the comments. There's Jambi, keep your promise. I mean, do it. This is another one. So, I mean, watch out for Mexico, right? They always do well against us. We're getting a little bit ahead. We're gonna talk about Mexico in a couple of days'
Yeah,
time.
no, I'm not thinking about Mexico now. No,
No,
we
no,
will
no,
have
no, no.
time. We'll have a few days. We'll have
Yeah,
between Tuesday at noon, pretty much,
yeah,
all the way until Saturday to talk about Mexico. But not now, not now.
yeah. No,
That would be
Jambi.
yeah. Put up the Thomas Madden comment there. Yeah, that's it. I
Ah,
was throwing out the lyrics to Superstitious. What
the
a
Stevie
wonderful
Wonder
song.
song.
Yeah, yeah.
A great song.
Fantastic. Thank
A
you,
very, very
Thomas.
good one. Yeah.
Cheers.
Mixed memorabilia. 2010, 14, and 18, Argentina were completely dependent on Messi. This seems different. Would you agree? 2014 was an excellent team, though. Seba, I'll let
Yeah.
you go first.
I think what changed for Messi, he said it today at the press conference. He said they asked him whether this was the happiest moment of his career after winning Copa America, getting to this World Cup like he is, because he was smiling all the time between answers and questions. And he said uh, that he doesn't know whether it's the happiest or not, but what he can tell and when he can say is that this World Cup um, catches him or gets him more mature, more experienced, and he gets to enjoy things better now than before. And what I would add as an opinion for me is that what really changed was the surroundings, was the group around him. This is the first time he's going to a World Cup being obviously experienced, but having won already stuff with Argentina, knowing exactly what it is to win stuff, to win silverware with the full national team. I'm not talking about youth World Cups or Olympic Games. He won that too, but for the full national team, it's different. And this is the first World Cup he's arriving at, having won silverware with Argentina, which is not a small detail. But
Mhm.
also, the entire group, in my opinion, is formed by people that worship Messi,
Mhm.
like Messi, and consider Messi to be the best in the world and their idol. Is It didn't happen in the past. We saw some egos there that were probably not accepting to be, in the back seat, or not to be the preferred choice or the number one player in the team. So it was a bit of a clash, internal clash. And let's not even mention 2018, where the team chemistry was all over the place. The manager was lost and was crazy, and and team
Yeah.
spirit was nowhere near. So that is what I think changed, and what I think is making Messi happier than ever with the national
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, 1,000%. I echo your sentiment, Seba, and I think now for Messi, because he's getting towards that, the tail end of his career. Obviously, as much as we don't want to talk about it, and I think now that, like you said, he won the Copa America, he got that monkey off his back, and he's surrounded by people that worship him, literally worship
Yeah,
him. Uh, and all of that combined, you're getting that, like you said, you're getting that Messi that's smiling in between questions at a press conference for a World Cup. We've never seen this Messi before.
hmm,
2018, we remember, you know, I unfortunately we remember that picture of Messi where it was the national anthem against Croatia, and he had his hand going like this, and there's that picture of him kind of his head down. Like, we don't see that Messi anymore, and thank God, thankfully for that. We're seeing
yeah,
a very different Messi, and I would say this is up there with that 2014 team in terms of camaraderie, that friendship.
yeah,
Because let's not forget that 2014 team. A lot of it came from the 2008 Olympics, right?
yeah.
Garay was there. Messi, Di Maria, Lavezzi,
Agüero.
Agüero,
Hmm, hmm,
Mascherano. So Gago, you had a lot of players that were there. Sergio Chiquito Romero. So
hmm.
that was different. This time around, these players didn't play together in the under 20s, but they have, aside from the love for Argentina, they have one thing in common, which is their worshiping of Messi. And somehow
Yeah,
that's brought Argentina a Copa America and
yeah.
36 games now on unbeaten streak, or 37, 36. So it's brought us something. It's brought us something. And that's why I think we're going to get a different Messi. And this is a very good question as well. Are you ready for this one, Seba?
Throw it.
Go for it.
Do
Do
you
you
think
think
that? All right, let's go.
let's
You
go.
go. You go.
All right. So do you think that Messi prefers to play with two strikers in front of him, or with the midfield that maybe a bit more complete and him as the striker? And what does everybody else think about this? Seba, this is a
This
tough
is
one.
yeah, it's a tough one.
This is a very good question.
Yeah, and this is something that gives me hope. Forgive me if I start by floating around the question, and then I'll
Of
try to
course.
answer. But the first thing I think about it when I read this is this is what gives me hope. Hopes
Hmm.
that Messi will continue to play until he's 50, 57, because he can play so many different positions, and he's not 100% dependent on his physical attributes. He can get slower, but he can still be the best passer in world football. So he could
Hmm.
play deeper. He could end up playing as a central defender for like a. He could still do a very good job, but he's not. He's not the same as he was 10 years ago. He was a lot more explosive, but perhaps he has a better vision right now, more experience, and I like him when he plays a little deeper and has somebody in front, a reference in front, like Lautaro. It could be Lautaro, it could be Julian. Um, whether he prefers that or not, maybe that's a question for him. But I what I can see is that he thrives in so many different positions and formations. So I don't know what you think.
Yeah.
Um,
I I think
for
a little bit the same for in regards to Messi. I think if this was Messi from 10 years ago, I would have told you he would like to be the striker and have a more complete midfield, like he mentioned recently. Having Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets behind them. Obviously, talking about the potentially three of the greatest midfielders that have ever played. Having him. I think now we're seeing a different Messi, a more complete Messi, and we saw it against the United Arab Emirates, right? That pass to
yeah,
Julian, and he could have scored it, and maybe Messi from 10 years ago maybe would have scored that. This time around, he knows what a goal for Julian would mean, so I think that's why he gave him the pass. So I think
yeah,
now maybe have two strikers in front of him as opposed to him being one of the strikers. Although I don't think and I don't doubt for a single second that Messi will go out there tomorrow aiming for a goal. I think
of
obviously more
course.
than anything he wants the 3 points, but I think he's going to go out there gunning for a goal or two or three or five. I don't
Yeah.
know, but
No, let's hope for that. But I think having him just behind Lautaro and Julian
yeah,
could work fantastic for Argentina. It would
yeah,
mean that we change a little bit of our formation or the way we're playing,
yeah,
but at the same time, we've seen Scaloni not being afraid of making changes. And the thing that Lautaro and Julian will give you that will really help Messi is that they too can interchange positions, and the way that they press when we don't have the ball, that is a wonder to watch. I mean that is
yeah.
of course we are blown away by what they do when they have the ball, when they shoot,
Mhm.
when they score. But what they do without the ball, both Julian and Lautaro, just pay attention to that. That is
The work
even
rate.
yeah, the work rate that they put in. You could see them pressing on the sidelines. You could see them pressing
Mhm.
alone against the center backs. You could see them chasing sometimes a deep line central midfielder that brings the ball up.
Yeah,
So those two playing together at the same time will probably allow Messi to have a lot of space to operate. And also one other thing that I noticed of Messi, if you look at the heat map,
yeah,
there's a lot of apps that tells you how many passes they play, how many shots on goal they had, etc., etc. There's also a heat map, and no heat map is the same for Messi from one game to another, because he has a lot of liberty to roam all over the pitch and find. He's like figuring out where to play, where to go, and he's has that liberty, and that is something that gives the manager and the rest of the team a lot of options. And Messi can
yeah.
can be that player that can play wherever he wants and still have an impact in the game.
Oh yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
he's very versatile. Of course, I'm not discovering anything, but that's
But
the good thing. He can. he can play with what the team gives him, and
Mhm.
we have so many different options that it's really getting exciting
Yeah.
for us and for me.
Yeah, no, I think it's getting exciting for everybody. Georgios, I also think Lautaro will be introduced to the world instrument. I think he will be. I think he's been flying under the radar for national team level when people watch Argentina. I think they look at Inter and maybe he doesn't score in every single game for Inter, so they don't really see him as the same way that we see him, for example. But to your point, Seba, Lautaro's work rate off the ball is it's incredible. Julian Alvarez is so intelligent and so versatile, and when you have those two young, hungry players, if you watch Lautaro, if you watch, let's say, let's go with Julian. If you watch Alvarez with Manchester City, the way he tracks back and the way he's making the runs and the way sometimes he drops a little bit deeper and they're very, very intelligent players. And for Messi to be able to play passes into those two, no matter whoever it is that's playing it, we're gonna get some goals. Not knock on wood. And I'm saying this, and every time I say something, I'm always
Mm.
knocking on wood. I'm trying to be careful, but no, I think it's. I definitely agree with this. I think the world will truly see the full talent and potential that is Lautaro Martinez. Calvin asks, Roy, is that Lautaro behind you? Yes, it is. This, wait, I can't do this. This one right here, that is Lautaro right there. Um, I'm
Yeah,
excited. I'm excited because we have
Calvin.
options.
I'll tell you a little secret, Calvin. I told Roy that he had to put in the contract to put a
Yeah,
picture of Lautaro there. Otherwise, I wouldn't be participating in these videos.
that's
That's the only payment that I'm getting.
That's that's the only thing. Seba's a free agent. Seba's a free agent. We're trying to lock Seba up. I'm still trying to get Seba
Yeah,
a contract for the World Cup, and he's telling me, Roy, I don't
yeah,
know. Have your people call my people. And I told him, what's it gonna take, Seba? We need you. The people are asking for you. And he said,
yeah. No,
surprise
next.
me. Get something for Lautaro.
No. Next up, it has to be a picture of Acuna.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Julian is very
that's all I
versatile.
ask.
That's all it is, right? That's all it is.
Yeah.
Um, Okay, so this is another good question. We're only getting good questions here. Should Di Maria be playing sparingly as he's the only player of his profile? I figured maybe Angel Correa might be good on the right side if needed. This is another one, right? We've spoken about Di Maria's importance at every single tournament since he started for Argentina, bar maybe 2010. We've seen his importance in the national team. If you're Scaloni, I know I'm putting you on the spot, Seba, but and if you want, I could even kind of go first. But if you're Scaloni, do you start Di Maria in every match? Do you play him 90 minutes, the full game every match? Do you rotate him?
I think that's one of the best things that Scaloni did. The way he handled Di Maria, the way because I remember there was a point in time in which he didn't even call him up for a couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
People were thinking, okay, that's it. Di Maria is no longer going to be involved with the national team. Then he called him back, and the way he administered Di Maria and the minutes that he gave him, I think that really helped revitalize Angel Di Maria with the national team. He started playing that super sub role, and he did it
Yeah.
to perfection. And then just before the final against Brazil, he said, "Okay, you're starting," because he saw he was ready. He had the experience, and also, thinking about what happened with Angel Di Maria, especially in big tournaments where he always got injured. He was very, very
Yeah.
unlucky. This time he was fit, and I think what Scaloni did was to give him a chance of redemption, and that really paid off. So
Yeah.
so now for tomorrow, I think this is another chapter in this same history. He's giving Di Maria a chance to start, to really make a mark, um, leave a mark
Mm-hmm.
in the World Cup early. It's always important for players like Di Maria and others that are high profile players. It's always important to give them to give them confidence. This is a good chance for him to start off with his right foot.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's interesting to see, and what's going to be interesting is to see what will happen after the Saudi Arabia game.
Makes sense.
He may revert to Di Maria being a super sub.
Substitute.
He could play different roles,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of a squad like we have. We could revert back to we could play a 4-4-2. We could play, I don't know, so many different positions without the need to use wingers all the time. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I
Yeah.
mean, nobody has the crystal ball.
That's
What we know is what is going to happen in a few hours, and then you know there are many options,
yeah.
so anything could happen.
Yeah. Sorry, you said we're gonna see what's gonna happen in a few hours, and my head just kind of lit up. I'm like,
Oh,
few hours already. But yeah, and
yeah,
there's something that you mentioned there about the Copa America, and I can't remember. For those of you that watched it, Seba, I know you watched it. I can't remember if it was on the Netflix special or if it was a recent interview, but there was somewhere where Di Maria said before the Copa America finals, Scaloni told him, "Look, play, give your all as if you're only playing 30 minutes in that final. Like really, really go for it." And we saw that. Like that Di Maria in that final was not a normal Di Maria. That's a Di Maria that played to the like at a whole other level. And it's sort of that, it's kind of like, hey, because of your track record, because of your history of your injuries, we might only need you for those 30 minutes. Play that 30 minutes as if your life depended on it. And I don't know. Like it's seeing that Di Maria. He's such a difference maker, and it's so difficult not to want to start him every single game. But sometimes we don't. We might not have to, right? I think maybe a win against Saudi Arabia, and depending on how things go against Mexico, maybe you could rest him against Poland. Who knows? We're
yeah.
getting a bit ahead of ourselves. We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves in in that sense. Um, Dropping a little bit back defensively, and this is a good question because we saw a lot of people talking about potentially, sorry, Lisandro Martinez. But in regards to Otamendi, do you guys think Otamendi will play every game? Has there been any partnership that worked well without Otamendi in the center of it? A very good question because it's always either Otamendi and Cuti Romero or Otamendi and Lisandro Martinez or Otamendi and Pazzella.
Yeah.
Do you think at one point, I mean, knock on wood again, but Otamendi at times could be a walking yellow card because of his physicality. Um,
Yeah. No,
what do
I
you
was
do?
going to say, unless he goes to jail for for something he does on the pitch in the first couple of games, I think he is one of the first names
Of course,
in the starting lineup. I mean, he has to be. He has to be. I think Otamendi was um, unfairly criticized early on in his career with the
right?
national team. I think he was played out of position back in 2010.
As a right back
Where
against Germany,
yeah,
yeah,
he was selected as a right back. He suffered big time because of that, um, and then he was a liability every now and then.
yeah,
But then you can't fault him for commitment, for the level of play that he has, and
no, of
so I
course,
think if nothing very strange happens, I mean, there's no need to replace him or to sit him down. I mean, he's there. He's I guess it's like everybody else. If they are ready, if they are ready to play, they're gonna be there. They're not gonna
yeah.
be hiding. I mean, they're gonna be, you know, putting their hands up, say, "Hey, I want to play." You know,
Yeah.
and there's no way you can sit him.
No, no, you can't. You can't. And we've spoken about Otamendi several times. We've shared our thoughts about Otamendi several times. I think at one point, myself included, not potentially, I did certainly unfairly criticize Otamendi in the past. But when I say in the past, I'm talking 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago. Now the Otamendi we're getting is very different. He is part of that leadership. He has that leadership in the back line with Romero. And there was a comment, at least something, God forbid something happens, we do have Lisandro off the bench, who's just another monster as well.
Yep.
Um,
And one thing that plays to Otamendi's advantage is that he's no longer the biggest psychopath in the team in that defensive unit, because there's
there
somebody
are two more now
wearing gloves. Yeah, there's somebody wearing gloves just behind him, and of course the guy he has
next to
alongside.
him,
Yeah, it's
and one on the bench as
it's another
well.
nutter. Yeah, yeah,
And Lisandro on the bench.
yeah,
No, well, this is something I think we spoke about maybe in the chat. I'm not sure, but I know we're kind of jumping all over the place in terms of questions, but against a team like Saudi Arabia, or against a team that might sit back a little bit and defend, having a Papu Gomez, a Di Maria, a De Paul, obviously Messi, Paredes,
Paredes
certainly
can
another
shoot.
one as
Yeah,
well. Paredes can
this
shoot
is a
from
good
distance.
point. Yeah, this
This
is a
is a
very good
very good
point.
point. I mean, if we look at, and I know I hate to go back to it, but 2018, that goal that sparked part of the comeback, or sort of the comeback, was Di Maria from distance against France,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If that goal doesn't go in, chances are Argentina probably don't score more than 2 goals in that match, or
Hmm.
even 1 goal. So
Yeah.
this is, it's one that we've seen come into play a few times. You need that goal that can unlock a defense sometimes from distance. The passing and the dribbling is great and it works, but if it doesn't work, you sometimes need a secret weapon, and that could be one, as well for Argentina. So we'll see what
Yeah,
gives. I keep thinking about the hours that are left, Seba, and it's something. It's something.
yeah.
But
I'm terrible at math, but it has to be 10 and a half hours to go,
not
or 11 and a half hours.
11, 9 and a
Something like that.
half, 10, 11,
I don't know.
something. Less
I,
less than a day. Sorry, less than 12
yeah,
hours. Less
yeah.
than 12 hours. I'm reading some of the comments. Pacella's another one. He really gets the side down. That is very true. He's been reliable, coming on as a substitute lately. We saw him make a good goal line clearance against
Yeah.
the UAE. So that's another one. Now, Seba, there's. I mean, this is why. So this is it, guys. So 9 hours. I get one for 10 and a half. I think it's more 10 and a
We can't
half.
decide. See,
We
yeah,
can
no, we can't decide. We can't decide.
No, we can't. Now, there's a comment here, and this is something that we have seen this World Cup. We tend to score set piece goals during the World Cup. We do. Argentina have scored some in the past. I think 2014 Rojo against Nigeria, and the first goal against Bosnia and Herzegovina. That was one. Messi set
Yeah,
piece against Nigeria.
yeah.
We've scored a couple, and this year at the World Cup, we've seen some interesting games and some interesting
Oh yeah,
goals. Do you
let's
want to
talk a
get to
little bit
that?
about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's
Let's talk a little bit about it. The first game. I tell you what, I remember seeing Qatar play in the Copa America. When was it? 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Um,
2019. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and they were a lot better than what they showed on Sunday. I was underwhelmed by what I saw from Qatar. I was expecting, you know, a big. They would put up a little bit of a bigger challenge, and to um, this is not to discredit Ecuador, because we know what Ecuador are capable of, and they're improving tactically a lot under Alfaro. But the level of competition that Ecuador faces every single year at the Copa America, at the World Cup qualifiers, and to see them compete and beat sometimes the likes of Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, Colombia, Chile, Paraguay. They had no problems qualifying from the work from South America this time around. So I guess only probably people from Europe or Asia, or people that don't know a lot about Ecuador, could have been surprised surprised of what they saw on Sunday. But I guess, to me, the most outstanding um, thing that I saw was how weak Qatar were, especially playing at home, preparing for the tournament for such a long time, having exposure to Spanish coaches, um, getting a lot of investment around. They really looked out of depth and out of sorts, and the game could have been over in the first minute, if it wasn't for that offside that they had to measure with technology. But that's what I take away from that game. The
yeah,
first game was really uneven. Ecuador could have scored a lot more if they really pushed Qatar
yeah.
for more, but um,
This
it wasn't
is
inspiring from the hosts. Yeah,
Yeah. I think there were some comments that I brought up. I think the difference in quality showed. I don't necessarily think Qatar is a bad team. I think it was a lot of it was the pressure. It cannot be easy. All the pressure on the pitch, off the pitch, everything
Mhm.
surrounding. Plus, you're making your World Cup debuts. It's not, that
Yeah,
already in and of itself is very difficult
yeah.
to manage.
But also physically, I thought there was a big difference.
A
You
big difference.
saw
You
you saw
how
um,
physical Ecuador can be, and
yeah,
and
yeah,
I think this year we're gonna get something similar to 2014. I think South American teams. I could see every South American team making it out of the group. I just knocked on wood there, but I could see them really doing it. I could see this being a World Cup dominated by South American teams. Uh, and them making it pretty far in the tournament. Obviously, you have the likes of you have the strong European teams, which I think they're all going to do well. But I think this year, as opposed to 2018, I think we're going to see a lot more of South America. Like you said, Seba, people that mostly Europeans that don't watch South American football maybe were surprised about Ecuador. I think anyone who watches South America could not have been surprised with Ecuador there. I think the only surprising thing, and I say this with the utmost respect to Qatar and their team, I think the only surprising thing about that match was that Ecuador did not score more because they could
yeah.
have, and I could see them doing. Um, Surprising some teams and surprising a lot of the European countries that think it's just Ecuador. I mean, they have some good players. They have a very good coach, a very experienced coach, and I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. I think this is a very good comment. I think Ecuador
Yeah,
represented CONMEBOL well. South America is on a whole different level. Um, Matias says not sure about Uruguay. Uruguay always has that fight in them. They're good for even if they might not play well, they're still going to kill you. So
yeah. I
it
know.
goes with them.
I think um, they could surprise a lot of people. Even
Yeah.
though you can't say Uruguay can be a surprise. They have players playing at the top in the top leagues, and they have a very good combination this time around of experienced players that are still that still have it, and young players that are at the top of the game of their game. And they recently changed managers, so you could expect to see something different than what we saw from Uruguay in the last 30 years. They basically had the same manager for 30 years, pretty much, in different spells, but they they had the same manager in 2018 than they did in 1990. So in between, he went to a couple of World Cups. They changed that during the qualifiers. Now it's Diego Alonso there. It's a different manager. He's younger. They have Federico Valverde having a fantastic season and great state of form. They have Georgian de Arrascaeta, one of my favorite players. He's a magician there. He plays for Flamengo,
Yeah.
where he's adored. He can connect the lines. He can connect midfield with the attack. And they have Suarez, Cavani, and Darwin now. So, you know, and the fighting spirit that is always there with Uruguay. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Portugal are not going to have an
No,
easy,
an easy game against them.
no,
And it
not
was
at
it
all.
was Uruguay
Uh,
that eliminated Portugal, I think, in the round of 16 in 2018, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
yeah.
I think it was them. But no, Uruguay won't be easy.
Hmm.
We do have a question just to slightly go back. Then we're going to come back to today's matches. But question about Dybala. So do you think he's going to play at all? Score goals? Who do you see him? How do you see his role this time around, Seba? Who do you
I
think?
guess it will all depend on how the group stage plays out. He may even be introduced tomorrow at some point. It's interesting with him. The question mark that I have is, of course, how he is physically, because he was almost ruled out of a World Cup because of an injury that he's suffered when he was playing for Roma. But um, with the national team, he's never been uh, very much involved. He never played too many minutes or had a lot of games. He scored in the Finalissima, right? He scored or had an assist?
No,
He
he
scored,
scored
right?
2-1 as
Yeah,
substitute. Messi had
he
that
scored.
dribble, and then it fell to Dybala, and Dybala scored. Yeah.
Yeah, but to be honest, I see him as a substitute, just as Raf is saying in the comment that you have there on the screen. Um, and if anything, I think it's a blessing to have somebody like him in case anybody, knock on wood, in case anybody else can make it. No, it's a good, it's a, it's a player that could be in any starting lineup in the World Cup. I mean,
Yeah.
he could be the star for a lot of nations, and
Yeah.
he's only playing a substitute role for Argentina, which it's a blessing, as I was saying.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. And the fact that he's just coming back from injury, it's not someone that is in Argentina starting 11. So if Dybala's not fit to go, you worry about who could replace him. He is a substitute potentially as well. Alvarez could be potentially ahead of him too. So
Mhm.
it shows that the depth and quality again for
Yeah,
Argentina. Dybala is versatile, can play as a false 10. Uh, so I'm excited for him. I really, really think we're going to see a bit of Dybala. We're going to see a lot of Alvarez. I'm just excited in general. I'm really, really just excited in general. But there was a question also to go back to today's games. So we did have 3 games today. From what I remember, unless my memory
yeah,
completely fails me, no South American team today. But we did get
no,
England, Iran. We had the Netherlands and Senegal. And then we had United States against Wales. Let everybody in the chat as well comment. Let me know if you guys watch the games. What do you think, Seba?
yeah,
Anything that stood
no,
out?
yeah. To me today, for me, the early game, England Iran. The only question mark that I had was um, how long that game would have lasted. And I
Mm,
think the game would have lasted until Iran conceded the first goal, because we all remember Iran Argentina back in 2014 and how difficult it was for us, and we won it with the final kick of the game. It was a real struggle. We could have lost it as well. I think they were a lot better 8 years ago, but with every time you see a team coached by Queiroz, you know what you're gonna get. And there was always a risk that they could have started frustrating England early on, make the game be long, make the game be difficult for England. But the minute they conceded the first one, I knew the floodgates were gonna be open. And
yeah,
to be fair and to be honest with England, they had a fantastic game. Um, they they really created good goals. They have a very exciting team. I'm not discovering anything.
mhm,
Harry Kane didn't score any goals. His team got six. He didn't score any goals, but that doesn't mean he didn't have a good game. He was fantastic in the build up. He was fantastic playing with his back to the goal. He was great in the build up. He had 2 assists, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a solid debut. It wasn't an easy rival to face in a World Cup debut, and I was impressed. So now they always look favorites to win the group, but even more so knowing that the other game in the group ended in a draw. I'm probably getting ahead
yeah.
of ourselves, but
No,
what do you think
it's
about what you
yeah.
saw of England?
I thought they were. Look, I have them going pretty far in the tournament. I really see them going far in the tournament. I think the first strong team they're going to go up against, I think they're going to struggle a lot, to be very honest with you. But I think they have an easy path. I think they have very good players, very young players, very intelligent players. The one thing that could potentially let them down is their coach. I think
Hmm,
their coach maybe not completely up to par. I don't know, but then again, look, they made it to a final of the Euros, and I'm sure it was a learning experience for them. I thought they looked very good, but I thought they looked very good, and Iran looked very poor. And like
right.
you mentioned, Seba, as soon as that first goal went in, I think, and especially the
Yeah.
injury as well to the goalkeeper, I think Iran's playbook just, game plan just thrown out the window, and let's try and do something. And to their credit, they still got what was it, 2 goals, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was 6-2 final, so they still managed 2 goals. Um, I see England going far because they have good players and they have an easy path, but I could easily see them losing to Brazil, to Portugal, to Germany, to the
Yeah,
Netherlands. Again, they're going to go far, but I think the first big team they go up against, they're going to struggle a lot. And it's, to be honest, it's been that way for a while. I mean, 2018 versus Colombia, they struggled. They won on penalties, but they struggled. Uh, at the Euros, the first potentially strong team, Denmark aside, that they faced was Italy, and they lost. So
at home. Yeah,
at home, right? And they had a very easy traveling schedule in that tournament. I think 6 of the 7 games they played were at home. So
yeah.
I was
No, but then,
impressed,
yeah,
but Iran was poor as well.
yeah, there could be dangers,
Yeah,
especially because a lot of these players they already played in a World Cup semifinal 4 years ago.
that's it.
So
They have the
it's interesting.
experience. They,
Imagine that comment from Matthias comes through. Oh my God.
we're not gonna talk about that.
No,
Just
no, 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 no.
this is another one. Look, if you're not, if as long as you don't cross, in my opinion, anyways, as long as you don't cross against England, I think you have a chance. Crossing the ball against England, even with Maguire, Stones, you're not going to win many aerial duels against them. I think on the floor you could, on the ground you could
Low crosses for
certainly get there.
Lautaro, low
You can
crosses for
certainly get
Lautaro
there.
to hit it first touch.
That's it.
Yeah, that will work.
That's it.
So the second game was probably the
The
one that
second
I
game,
was. Yeah, this was the one that I was
yeah, a lot of
waiting the
people were looking
most.
forward to.
Yeah, of the first two games, he started really great, and then it
Yeah,
was like, oh my God, he
it's
was. At
it.
times it was hard to watch. It was difficult
It
to
was
watch.
it at times it was a difficult Van Gaal game.
Yeah,
Louis Van Gaal, it was his typical game.
yeah,
Solid defensively, very difficult to break down. No matter whoever's there, whether it's Van Dijk or Nathan Ake or whoever it is, they're just any
yeah,
Van Gaal team is difficult when you throw those two guys in. It's I
yeah. And I
think
think
they're just missing that star up front. That Van Persie, that Van Nistelrooy. I'm not even going to say Van Basten, but
mm,
that main
yeah.
star up front is scoring.
No, and I really like this Senegal team. I really like
Hmm.
how many options they have. It's so unfortunate that they're without their
Sadio
best
Mane.
player, Sadio Mane. But today they had a very solid performance. I mean, the first shot on goal that they conceded was the 1-0, the goal by
Yeah,
Gakpo with 3-4 minutes to go. I mean, that's
yeah.
I've really felt bad for Senegal because they at the very least they deserve to get a draw today. A draw against the Netherlands would have probably made them
Help them.
favorite to advance at least as a uh, second place team. Now they have
Hmm.
to beat Ecuador in the third game, which is going to be one of the
Ooh,
best games in the
that's gonna be
on
exciting.
paper. Yeah,
That's gonna
but
be exciting.
today I mean, if you didn't see the game, you say, okay, Netherlands they won 2-0. Oh, okay, probably they dominated. No, that wasn't the case.
No,
The first shot on goal was the 1-0, and then the second one was really late, a counter attack, and both goals came from mistakes by
by
Mendy,
the
the
goalkeeper.
goalkeeper.
Yeah,
So, which is also very
surprising.
strange. Yeah, it's strange to see. He's
Yeah,
not the type of a goalkeeper that makes a lot of mistakes.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was very.
Exciting.
Yeah, I agree with
At
the
times,
commentary. Yeah, yeah.
at times it was exciting, and at times it wasn't the most
No,
exhilarating of
yeah,
games.
and they also lost a couple of players during the game through
Yeah, to injury.
injury. So
Yeah,
you could
that's
you could see that the game was going to slip away from them, and it was unfortunate to see them lose. I thought that they competed, and it's not going to be easy for Ecuador in the third game. I think both of them will beat Qatar. I mean, already Ecuador beat Qatar, but Senegal will beat Qatar.
it's
Probably the Netherlands will beat Ecuador,
yeah.
and then it's going to be.
I don't know. Ecuador
I said
against
probably.
Netherlands.
I said probably. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
I said
Well,
probably.
yeah. It's that one. That one I think is going to be very interesting because both teams won their opening match. Both are tactically speaking very good. They're both very good coaches, tactically speaking. It's going to be the battle for first place, right, in the group. Netherlands and Ecuador. It's going to be a fun one. That group is
Yeah.
it's still kind of open in a way. I mean, you never know with Senegal. They could um, if they beat Qatar and then they go on and win against Ecuador, then Ecuador's out. So there's
Yeah.
still a lot of scenarios. We're just one game in,
Yeah.
and technically speaking, there's still a lot of scenarios, but there's still a lot of scenarios in regards to this group as well, because somehow, some way, the
Mhm.
United States and Wales could still qualify with England out. By the way, I'm just saying, if the United States absolutely need a win
True.
in their next game against England, if they get the 3 points, England potentially go into the last group game against Wales needing a win. Nerves, Gareth Bale, 6 points. Who knows?
No, but
But
I mean, on virtue of what I saw today,
yeah, no
England should have no problems beating
qualifying.
both of these teams. And it was, when they say it was a game of two halves, and
It was
this was a best. I mean, this was the
best
best
example for
example of
that.
that because the USA just wiped the floor with Wales in the first half. Wales were really, I think they got the tactics wrong, and that's one of the things that Rob Page did well when he substituted Daniel James
Hmm.
off and put Kiefer Moore. He changed
That
the
changed.
game. He
Yeah,
he gave a lot of he gave
a lot of the
Wales a
possession away.
different
Then
shape. Yeah, and also put a lot of pressure on the USA because they needed to change the approach. But also it was a team effort from Wales. They were more on the ball. Um, they they were sitting back in the first half. We didn't see any of that in the second, and they could have won it near the end.
yeah,
But
that
yeah, it
tackle
was
on Gareth Bale.
literally, yeah. So
it
I think Wales really looked bad in the first half. The
Mhm.
USA looked bad in the second half, but I think the USA second half was worse than Wales first
Then
half,
first
and
half, yeah.
that was disappointing
Yeah,
from the US in the second half because
yeah.
they looked pretty much in control in the first half, and they could have run away with the game, but they just
No,
didn't have enough.
no, they didn't. And anyone who's really watched the qualifiers for the United States for this World Cup, you could kind of tell they're not in the greatest of shapes. They have struggled at times. They really struggled at times in the qualifiers, and they were up against the Wales team that was tenacious. They didn't give up tactically, as you mentioned, Seba. Second half, they changed
Yeah,
it up, and the borderline were unlucky not to win. Wales were, in a way, very, very unlucky not to win. Um, this is very true. Yeah, George
yeah.
Weah's son with the goal for the
I saw
USA.
I saw George
Uh,
Weah play. He was
yeah,
playing for Milan in the 90s.
yeah,
What a
and
beast!
that was a different beast, different
So
animal.
today was it the
Yeah,
first goal ever scored by the son of a president at the
I
World Cup? Could be, yeah.
possibly.
It's,
It's a
it would be
question.
very difficult. Yeah, it would be very difficult to find another example of that. But yeah,
Yeah, this is gonna be a tough one. Really
what a
quickly as
great
well.
finish, and what a great finish it was.
Oh,
Outside of his foot,
it wasn't easy.
the pass from Pulisic was amazing as
Spot
well.
on,
It was great.
spot
It was
on.
great. Great goal.
Um, as we kind of get towards the end here, um, Australia, France. I think wasn't this the opening game in their group as well in 2018? If I'm not
Was
mistaken.
it?
Griezmann scored a penalty, I think, or am I wrong? I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. They scored like a fluke goal with a
yeah,
rebound.
we
I think it was
so
Pogba scoring with a
we
rebound.
Oh, there are 4 games tomorrow. Okay, we're in for a treat. Okay.
Oh yeah, tomorrow.
Um,
Yeah, 4 games.
let's, yeah, we have the first game, Argentina, Saudi Arabia. Second game, Denmark, Tunisia, which I think Denmark will probably walk that one. Mexico, Poland. So for those Argentina fans,
Yeah,
Mexico,
our
Poland.
rivals. Yeah.
Yes, 6 hours. I don't know what time zone you're in, but
Uh-huh.
Mexico Poland is 6 hours after Argentina kicks off against Saudi Arabia. So I don't know. Do your math. It's 11 a.m. for me.
Yeah.
I think it's 1 p.m. for you, Seba. And then the last match of the group, France Australia, the reigning champions. So Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Denmark, Tunisia, Mexico, Poland, France, Australia. Seba, thoughts on? Let's
I'm
go to
really
one.
looking forward to all of them, of course.
Yeah,
The Argentina game is an understatement. That's the one that I'm most looking for. But I guess the Mexico and Poland, that really looks like a
yeah, tasty
win.
game.
Yeah, and it's like a must win for both because you have to consider the odds and without counting the chickens before they're born, as we say in Argentina,
Yeah, yeah.
chances are like we are in a better position in the in our matches against Mexico and Poland. So they really need to win this one because they can then count pretty much on a win against Saudi Arabia for both. So it could be
This could decide the group in a way.
yeah,
Knock on wood. This
yeah,
could do that.
yeah.
It's gonna be
So a
yeah.
lot of pressure for Tata Martino. He's not very well liked in Mexico.
No,
He,
not in Argentina either, or
they like
Barcelona.
him. They like him in Chile because they won two Copa Americas playing against him.
Nah, that was
But yeah,
against him. Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. But I don't want to get distracted.
No.
But yeah, Poland, they were a bit underwhelming lately. They just
Yeah,
beat Chile in a friendly game. Of course, Lewandowski was not playing there. It's gonna be different when the real thing
when the
starts.
test starts.
But Mexico, I really like the fighting spirit that they have in World Cups. They sometimes they play better than the real
Then they should.
talent, yeah, than they should.
Yeah,
Um, so I'm really looking forward to that one. I really have
yeah.
no idea what's
It's
gonna happen there.
the yeah best case for Argentina. That game ends in a draw. That would be the best thing because then you might create some distance. Knock on wood, Argentina gets the 3 points. Knock on wood, but
Mhm.
you get you start to create that distance.
But if just listen to this scenario: if Poland wins, and they chances are they're gonna beat Saudi Arabia as well.
Yeah,
So if we win, then it's win on Saturday and get to the third
to the round of
game
16.
already qualified.
Yeah,
Get to Poland in a battle
with
for first place, and
yeah,
but you'll be already qualified if that
exactly.
happens. So if
Similar to Argentina Netherlands in 2006, both teams were already
similar,
qualified
yeah,
and they played to a
yeah,
0-0 draw. And Netherlands had the bloodbath against Portugal in the round of 16, and
yeah,
Argentina had the Maxi Rodriguez goal against Mexico, and the
yeah.
disallowed Lionel Messi goal, and the disallowed Lionel
I
Messi goal. Never gonna forget that. Um,
badly disallowed because
very
it
badly
was
disallowed.
onside. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also, I mean, Ochoa always shows up for Mexico as well. That's
Oh my
every
God.
tournament. I think it
Yeah.
was against Brazil in 2014 and Netherlands in 2014 as well. And he just, World Cup. It's Ochoa.
Yeah.
Best goalkeeper in the
We
world sometimes.
Yeah, we have a saying in Spanish, atajó hasta el viento, which means he saved even the wind.
Even the
I mean,
wind.
nothing was
Even,
going in, nothing was going in. I
even the wind.
remember a couple
It
of
was
performances.
it was
Crazy, crazy.
it was the penalty on Robin that got the goal against
Oh
Mexico
my
and
God.
that whole thing. And
Robbery.
uh, yeah, draws bad. Yes, but we did bad as well. That was more on us than probably the other one as well. I know we got the win there, and those two teams drew, but that one, we're not going to get into that one. Not that World Cup. Not that one. Joe gets the World Cup powers. He does. It's
Yeah.
superpowers. His kryptonite is Robin. That's his kryptonite. Because I remember him against Brazil in 2014. The saves that he made. Oh my God. But anyways, enough talking about Mexico. What time you guys doing post match live? Probably around this time, Seba. Maybe
Yeah, a
potentially.
little later than we started today, I think. A little
Yeah,
later.
potentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Potentially for that. And then we got two more matches: Denmark, Tunisia, France, Australia. Seba, I got Denmark and France on this one.
Yeah, the logic tells you that. France is gonna be a question mark
Yeah,
around all the casualties that they had. I mean, I read. I'm not superstitious. I don't believe in
yeah,
Uh,
all that stuff. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I don't believe in magic. You know, I
yeah,
I sound like John Lennon in that song.
Which one?
I think it was called God, the song God.
Okay.
Anyway, it's the one that he was saying, "I don't believe in magic. I don't believe in whatever." He
Yeah.
doesn't believe. He didn't believe in any. Well, I don't believe in all of those things. But ever since Paul Pogba had his fight with his
Yeah.
brother said, I'm going to
Curse.
a witch. Yeah, I'm going to a witch. I'm gonna curse you." He's missing the World Cup, and so is everybody else from the team. I mean,
Uh,
it's unreal. Even Benzema, and of course, it's better to see a team that is really strong, that is competing for the World Cup
mhm.
against your favorite team. It's always good news when when they don't have all the stars available, but at the same time, you don't like to see those things. You don't like to see a player of the quality of Benzema, Kanté,
It's
Pogba,
it happened to us.
Varane,
Lo Celso.
Kimpembe. Yeah, you don't want to see them get injured. I mean, that's not,
They,
that's not good.
I, I, I think they're the most hit team in the World Cup in terms of players missing. I really,
Absolutely,
five or
absolutely.
six starters.
I
You're talking starters, not squad
I
players.
saw I saw like a starting 11 of
Injured
French
French
players
players.
injured. They will make it to the semifinals. I kid you not. I mean, it was
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
goalkeeper Magnan. Then you have Kimpembe, Varane. You have Klaus on the right. I don't remember every one of
no,
them.
they
But then you have Pogba, Kante,
Pogba, Kante, that
Benzema
midfield
up front. I
alone.
mean, oh my
Yeah,
God, it's
no,
too much.
it's
So that's gonna be the question mark. How they
yeah,
react to all of those issues.
yeah.
Maybe they galvanize. Maybe they
We've we've seen them.
Nkunku as well. Nkunku
And
already in
Kunku, yes, a
Qatar
couple of
getting
days ago,
injured.
yeah, yeah. After
That's too
Benzema,
much. Yeah,
or
you
before,
have
I
to
can't
feel
remember.
for them. Even if you want, even if you would like for them to be kicked out of the World Cup in the group
Yeah,
stage. So yeah, that's the question mark for tomorrow. But I still think they have enough to win it tomorrow.
yeah. And you have the Hernandez brothers as well. I
Of
think, yeah,
course.
I think they have the still more than enough talent
Hmm.
to break that World Cup winning curse, right? Of the curse of World Cup champions, which they took part in 2002 when they won in
Yeah.
'98. In 2002, they didn't make it out of the group. We'll see this time. I think they make it out. I think them and Denmark qualify for the round of 16. Although I'm kind of hopeful that one of them misses out. I'm kind of hopeful about that. But no, uh, I mean, Calvin, exactly. They have a lot of talent, even with all of the injuries. It's scary. We talk about Argentina's depth, and absolutely and rightfully so. France have some talent as well and some depth. Although Varane, it's true.
Oh,
Rafael Varane did come back
sorry,
from
my
injury,
bad. Sorry, my bad.
but still. Any last words, Seba? And kick off
Now,
in less than 12 hours. Anything?
no, again, what I said at the beginning, just enjoy. Welcome to all the new fans. Think about the younger generation. Embrace them.
Yeah,
Try to make them enjoy their first World Cup experience. If you have anybody at home that will go through that very very special moment, that will be remembered for forever. I mean, I still remember back in '86, I was 9, and I still remember what I was, where I watched every single game, who was with me, what I did afterwards.
yeah,
That is something that it's only possible with the World Cup. So um, we deserve it. We deserve this. I mean, all of us,
uh,
for all the things that we suffer in previous World Cups and all the disappointment, all the good stuff
the
as well.
heartbreaks.
But
Yeah,
but also I want to say this. I might be getting too deep, too philosophical, but this is a very very hard life. I mean, this is you work hard, you study hard, you probably have to do shitty jobs. You have to go, or you have to endure a pandemic. You have to suffer so many losses. Yeah, we have to embrace and enjoy the good things that and the entertaining things and the things that gives us the thrills. So we deserve it. We all deserve it. Like fans of every one of the 32 competing nations, everybody deserves to enjoy this and let all the other things that are being said, just leave them aside and enjoy the moment. That's what I hope for everybody, and of course, I hope for the best and for our favorite team to do well.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. This comes around once every 4 years. This is not the Champions League. This is not a league that every season and you say, oh, you know what, it'll happen next season, and we'll buy this player and that player. No, this is once every 4 years. This is a process of World Cup qualifiers, and that's just football. That's excluding everything else said about life, right? Life in
Yeah,
general and everything else. So. There you go. I couldn't have said it better myself, Seba. There you go. That Di Maria celebration. That Di Maria celebration.
yeah.
Um, on that note, Seba, I thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We are going to be live again in roughly 24 hours, maybe a little bit more or a little bit less, but around this time tomorrow. Anyways, we're going to have the posts up and everything. So if it's your first time, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications. If it's not the first time, hit the like button. Make sure to turn the notifications on if you haven't already. And thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Roy Nemmer. This is Sebastian Garcia, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
And
you.
until next time, until 24 hours from now. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a
Vamos
good one.
Argentina, everyone.